Hi all, this is just a quick kitchen talk. I'm starting to film the parts for the beef stroganoff. And if you've watched or are watching that video, you might notice that I put the beef stroganoff in the refrigerator. And you might be wondering, well, you've always said take meat out of the freezer or refrigerator and let it get to room temperature. That's true for roast, ribs. When you're grilling something, you want to do that. When you're making the beef stroganoff, it's only 2:51 here. I'm not actually going to start the cook until 5:30. So I have plenty of time. That would give a window of 2.5 hours. My stroganoff doesn't need to stay out that long. So I'm not going to take it out until about a half an hour before I'm going to get ready to use it. So when doing this, if you're going to do this prep work a day ahead of time or a couple of days ahead of time, or even if you're going to freeze it, take it out of the freezer a couple of days before to let it naturally thaw out. But you don't need to take the meat out 2 hours in advance of cooking. Half an hour for a beef stroganoff or even a pot roast. A pot roast, I would probably take out an hour before, especially if it's an entire roast, just to let that get room temperature, and then flour it just before you start to fry it in the pan. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to get back, and I'm going to try not to say as much as I've been doing. Okay, I've got my pressure cooker right here. I'm just making sure. It's been a minute since I've used the pressure cooker, or I should say the Instant Pot. You might notice that I am going to call it a pressure cooker because it actually has the feature of a pressure cooker. But it's also known as the Instant Pot because that's who makes it. So mine has been sitting for a minute. I haven't used it in a couple of months. And it's a little bit dusty on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and wash its lid. I'm just checking the inside of my pot. And you might notice this area. Well, don't be alarmed. This actually is clean. That's just from previous cooks where it's kind of taken on a staining of when I've cooked meals. That's not going to affect its pot, and it's definitely not going to affect the flavors of the meal. So this is clean. I'm just going to give it a wash. When I get ready in a couple of hours, I will come back and I will show you what we do start to finish. So stay tuned. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. One of my viewers posted on my Facebook page a comment when I was doing the rib series, and I thought I'd address it because he is right. I have a big green egg. Not everybody who's watching my series has a big green egg, and there are different types of charcoal. He made a comment, the difference between my charcoal versus like a Kingsford briquette charcoal. They do burn at different temperatures. So any of my videos that you're watching when I'm using the grill, always consult your manufacturer for your grill because they will have different times and temperatures. If you're not that familiar with your grills, there are a lot of YouTube videos on YouTube that will actually teach you how to use your particular grill and your particular charcoal. Kingsford charcoal burns a lot quicker than my charcoal does. So when I'm cooking, I can reuse. I can also go a longer cook without constantly refilling my charcoal. Okay, everybody, we're back in our kitchen. Husband's behind me. He's heating up some coffee. One of my viewers posted, who happens to be a very good friend of mine, posted in the rib series that we're watching the week of the beginning of the month of February, had posted that not everybody has the same type of grill that I have, and he's right. A lot of you probably don't have the same type of grills that I have. I deal solely in the big green egg, and different charcoals will burn at much different temperatures. The briquettes will burn hotter and faster than a natural wood will burn. So what I would say is always consult your brand of grills manufacturer instructions. And if you're having a little bit of trouble following my grilling series, because I'm going to do a lot of grills, every grill is different. The Big Green Eggs have more are a lot different than like your Weber grills. Weber grills were designed to take Kingsford charcoal briquettes. They also can take natural wood, but the setup is a lot different than what I use. So always consult your particular grill. There are probably a lot of YouTube videos that you can watch that will be helpful videos for your grill thing. Like I said, my grill uses natural wood charcoal, which is a lot different than the Kingsford briquette charcoal that you can get in the store. I don't have any experience with the pellet smokers or smokers other than the Big Green Eggs. So your smokers may be a lot different than what mine are. They'll have the same principle as mine, but always consult your particular grill's manufacturer instructions, or go on YouTube with your particular grill, and you'll be able to pop up a lot of videos that will actually teach you how to use your grill. So I just wanted to address that in today's video. We're continuing our beef stroganoff, and I've got almost all of the ingredients that I need right now in front of me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys down so you can kind of see. I'm still not setting up. I'm still about 2 hours away from cooking. I'm going to try to go, well, actually, I'm going to move you guys up so I don't have to move so far back. You may not see what's on here, but you'll be able to see me. For for this particular cook, which is going to be done in the Instant Pot, you're going to want beef stock. The difference between beef stock and beef broth. Beef stock is what you would use to flavor something, such as if you're doing a soup, you would add stock to your soup to give it more flavor, and it will get more of a go than just a basic broth. Broth is basically soup that has been made, and you're using the broth of the soup, whereas stock will have your vegetables, your meat. It's a stock based to get your soup or other things that you want going. I always use the stock because I find the stock has more flavor than just a basic broth. Now, you may have seen these in your supermarket, and I'm going to put these up. These are bouillons. These are a lot different than liquid stock. These are more or less used to flavor something, such as a gravy. Like when I did the prime rib roast, you may have noticed, and I can't remember, that was a couple of weeks ago videos, so I don't remember everything. But when I do a gravy, I will add a couple of tablespoons of this, and this happens to be the beef stock. It's better than bouillon stock. So anytime that you use a bouillon or something that calls for a bouillon, you can substitute the little package bouillon that you get in your supermarket for this. And these have a lot of flavor. They're really, really good. They make them in beef, chicken. They also have a vegetarian one. And we're going to talk as I get going with the beef stroganoff. If you're vegetarian and you're watching this, or you don't feel like doing a meat dish and you want to do this meatless, you certainly can. You can also use the vegetarian version or the vegetable version of this to enhance your flavor of stock. And we'll talk about that later. Other ingredients that you're going to need for the stroganoff is you're going to need 1 container of sour cream, because that's going to be your base. You're also going to need cornstarch. And I, as an added flavor, will put in Borden's cheese. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes, once we get started with this, which cheese flavor I use. And that's what makes this the best stroganoff you will ever have. So stay tuned.